It's the middle of January, it's below freezing, and the next ice storm is on the way. You have nowhere to go, you're stranded on the streets, and all the homeless shelters are full. Can you imagine? Homelessness is more common than you think. On any given night, there is an estimated 564,708 people experiencing homelessness nationwide, meaning that they are forced to sleep outside or in an emergency shelter or transitional housing program, says the National Alliance to End Homelessness. Today I'm going to explain how common homelessness is, how you become homeless, and what you can do to reduce the homelessness rates. So let's get started. Homelessness affects people of all ages, all descents, races, and ethnicities. Homelessness is a problem in every city here in America. Within a year, as many as 2 million people in America will experience homelessness for some period of time. Despite what many people assume, the homeless population contains people of all ages and all backgrounds. One doesn't necessarily have to be old and lazy to be homeless. In fact, nearly 1/4, or 23%, of all homeless people recorded were under the age of 18 years old, according to Project COMM. Of the 564,708 homeless people we talked about earlier, 206,286 of that number is people who belong in families, which is roughly 1/3. Fortunately, though, only 15% of the homeless population is actually chronically homeless or homeless for a long period of time. The rest usually only remains homeless for a shorter amount of time, such as months or even days. Now let's talk about how people become homeless in the first place. Many people respond to homelessness by arguing that they just need to get a job. But really, it's much more complicated than that for many. Homelessness can be a result of low wages, unemployment, abuse, health issues, substance abuse, natural disasters, or even lack of affordable housing within an area. Domestic abuse is another issue that's directly related to homelessness, and it's actually more common than you think. Actually, it's one of the top reasons why women and children end up on the streets. About half of homeless women and children are fleeing domestic abuse because they would rather be homeless than deal with the abuse. According to the Thurston County Homeless Point-in-Time Census Report, domestic abuse has been one of the top reasons for homelessness for women and their children in previous years. The report also talks about how domestic violence victims are unable to stay with family or friends due to the fear of their attacker finding out where they live. So they consider the streets their safest place. Many people also question why people on the streets don't just go stay in a shelter, but it's not as simple as it seems. Many shelters are overcrowded, which can make it challenging to get into. There can also be a long wait because so many other people want to get in. Many people also have trouble following the shelter rules, like no drug use. Many people don't realize how many people actually want to get help, but they are unsure how. Now it's time to take action. By getting involved with local organizations around Louisville that specifically focus on homelessness around our community, we can put a stop to homelessness altogether. We as a community are responsible for taking care of our neighbors. It's time to reach out, donate, serve, and support. You can do this by joining the Coalition of the Homeless Louisville and choose how you would like to give back to your community and end homelessness. Something as simple as donating clothes or serving at a food drive could save someone's life. You could be providing for a father, a mother, children, or even a freezing infant. As weather gets harsh, the homeless risk their lives trying to survive. The Coalition of Homeless Louisville gives to the community in direct ways to donate to specific programs that provide housing for homeless veterans, solutions for homeless families, and support services for homeless youth and adults. The Coalition of Homeless Louisville is a nonprofit organization who stride on a mission to advocate for people who are homeless and for the prevention and elimination of homelessness. They provide housing, food, clothing, healthcare, and legal services for those who are in need. They also have programs looking to serve and donate, which is a great way to give back to the community. They make it super easy to join programs such as the $5 a month club, which provides funding to allow one homeless person to remain indoors during extreme temperatures. That could be just pocket change, and it can make a huge difference. The steps to conclude homelessness are so simple yet so effective, so it's important to acknowledge the problem at hand and be part of the solution. I hope you now have a better understanding of how common homelessness is right here in our community, how people become homeless, and what we can do to stop homelessness altogether. Homelessness occurs all around us. Many people lack the luxury of a home or even the simplest necessity, shelter. People who roam the streets desperately attempt to seek shelter for them and their loved ones. Imagine this. All those clothes in the back of your closet that haven't been worn in years could be keeping someone on the verge of hypothermia alive. All of that food collecting dust in your pantry could fill up the tummy of a starving child. It's time to take action. It's time to help. Is that okay?
It was really good.